Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of the Wolf's Den. I am your host, Ari Wolfe. Lots of things to discuss heading into Week 12. This episode is going to feature Clint Dalzell, the outstanding quarterback for the Dallas Desperados. He threw touchdown pass number 900. We're going to break down the career of Clint Dalzell. We also have a news segment. Every week, it's called AFL Rewind. We'll look back on this date in AFL history, and we'll wrap things up with a preview of this Monday night's game between Los Angeles and Chicago. Those two teams met in the playoffs a year ago. They've got a lot of familiar faces, a lot of guys who worked together back with the Albany Firebirds. So lots to come on this week's episode of the Wolf's Den. Clint Dalzell. Sometimes he doesn't like it when we talk about him too much because he says it makes him feel old. But the fact of the matter is he's been doing it well for a long time in the Arena Football League. 13 years as a quarterback, and this guy's played for a lot of different franchises. He started his career with the Milwaukee Mustangs. Then he moved on to the Texas Terror, followed by the Houston Thunderbears. And then he won his world championship playing for the Grand Rapids Rampage back in 2001. Then he spent a couple seasons with the Las Vegas Gladiators, and now playing for the Dallas Desperados. Clint's team has the best record in the AFL right now, a mark of 9-1. And last week he threw touchdown pass number 900. So Clint Dalzell's numbers are almost hard to put in perspective. 900 career touchdown passes. You combine Dan Marino and Brett Favre, they have 862 passing touchdowns. So the numbers that Clint Dalzell has put up have been simply staggering. Now let's go to the passing yards. 43,111 passing yards. That's the equivalent of 24.5 miles. And if you went back and forth, end zone to end zone on an arena field, it would take you 862 times. So Clint's been doing this for a long time, 13 years, still playing at a very high level. Now, when you also put into perspective some of his best single-game achievements, on 3 different occasions, Clint Dalzell has thrown 11 touchdown passes in a game. And that is just incredible that he's managed to do that 3 times. Now, he also holds a career passing mark for a single game, but we're not going to let you know the answer to that until we get to AFL Rewind. Want to take a look back now at Clint Dalzell's rookie year, 1995. Let's have a little perspective. I'm a history major here. Think about some of the facts and figures looking back on the year 1995. Who was the president back then? Bill Clinton was in office. Right now, his wife trying to get into office. What was the best picture of the year in 1995? Any guesses out there? How about Forrest Gump? Love me some Forrest Gump. All right, the song of the year, Streets of Philadelphia by Bruce Springsteen. And how about this? This would be a little bit depressing. Guess what the price of gas was in the year 1995? $1.15. Boy, we miss those times, don't we, Clint? So Clint's been around for a long time, and I know he's talked about certainly eclipsing 1,000 passing touchdowns, and all he says is that just means that he's getting old. But his team has the top record in the Arena Football League, so we wanted to celebrate the career thus far for Clint Dalzell. 900 career touchdown passes. Congratulations, Clint. Now time for a new segment here on the Wolf's Den. It is called AFL Rewind, where we celebrate the rich history in the Arena Football League, and this idea came to us from one of the people helping out over arenafootball.com. So we brought this segment up, and we're going to try to celebrate this day or this week in the history of the Arena Football League. So let's go back in time. May 14th, 1999, the Houston Thunderbears and their quarterback, Clint Dalzell. Clint had a big night, a night like no other in AFL history. He threw for 479 yards. That is the AFL single-game record. What a night for Clint, as he almost went for 500 yards. All right, what else has ever happened on May 14th in this league? How about 2005? The Georgia Force beat Dallas at home 63-56. They finish at home 8-0, and they win their first ever Southern Division crown. So a little bit of history this week. Clint Dalzell, 479 yards, and the Georgia Force clinching their first Southern Division title. We're looking for more ideas, everybody. This week, it's AFL Rewind. Look for it again next week. All right, let's preview the big Monday night matchup in the Windy City. The Los Angeles Avengers taking on the Chicago Rush, and these two teams very familiar with one another. Last year, Chicago knocked Los Angeles out of the playoffs 52-20. And when you think about the makeup of these two teams' coaching staffs, a lot of guys who have worked together before. You think back to the Albany Firebirds in 1998. Mike Hohensee was the offense coordinator. Ed Hotchkiss was on that staff. He would move up to be the offense coordinator once Coach Hohensee left to take over the position in Chicago. You also had Mike Wilpolt was on that staff. And one of the emerging stars of that team was Greg Hopkins. Greg Hopkins now on the coaching staff in Los Angeles. And another guy coaching with Ed Hotchkiss and Greg Hopkins, Brent Winter, who spent several years in Chicago working under Mike Hohensee. So these staffs know each other well. And it's also a pretty good rivalry on the field. Many of you may recall the best hit of 2007, Dennison Robinson taking out my guy, Kevin Ingram. I mean, it was just a monster hit. But Kevin Ingram did hold on to the football. So those two guys will get reacquainted on the field. Now, Chicago is in the driver's seat to be the #1 seed in the American Conference, so they're kind of on cruise control right now. But the thing about Chicago that I love so much, I'm always talking about how the quarterback is the most important player to any team in the AFL. That might not be the case in Chicago, because I think DeJuan Alfonso is the best all-around player in the Arena Football League. All that guy does is make plays. Tough task for Los Angeles. They've got a quarterback controversy. Is it going to be Hicks? Is it going to be Cumbie? Who will play quarterback? I imagine they are working hard on that right now in Los Angeles. But with the way things are going in the American Conference, if LA can get hot, they could still win the West and potentially be a #2 seed. So you do not want to miss this matchup Monday night, 8 o'clock on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD. The Los Angeles Avengers taking on the Chicago Rush. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of The Wolf's Den. Next week, we'll be coming out with more facts and figures, stories, anecdotes, and your ideas. Don't be scared to write into arenafootball.com and let us know some of your thoughts on things we can cover here in The Wolf's Den. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care, everybody.